There we go. I'm back. For some reason, it logged me off. I appreciate everybody staying. Okay, so what am I going to start off with? First off, some people will be glad to hear my streak is over. My streak of 22 consecutive winning days has come to an end. I had a great day up until 1:30 p.m. I was working on the next straight accomplishment. But it ended, and I'll go over my plays and the small account challenges because I've got two going on. But first, the same thing I said the past 2 days when I had Romeo with me. You must use a cash account, and I'll give you examples. If you didn't use a cash account, you're riding the elevator up and down. If you're using a cash account, you can get out of and into as many trades as you want in a day. As long as you have cash, the trade will settle the next day. So you can use the cash the next day. If you're using Robinhood, and again, I think Robinhood is margin only, you get stuck in the plays. All right. So let me talk about my plays for today. The winning ones, and then, of course, the losing ones, which kind of pissed me off at the end of the day. But this morning, I mentioned Edit, EDIT. I've mentioned it a lot of times on YouTube. I went in with 9 contracts, $60 strike, expiring this Friday, which was in 3 days. I bought in at $200 a contract. I sold at $475. I was guilty of watching. So when I tell you guys plan ahead, I kept telling lifetime members, oh, keeps going higher, keeps going higher, keeps going higher. My account went from negative 1,000 on those to like plus 3,000. All right. And it was only 9 contracts. But again, I got caught watching. So I exited out at 475, giving me a profit of 275 per contract times 9 contracts. Okay. Then on the way down, same stock Edit, I bought the same contract, $60 calls, expiring now in 2.5 days at $3.60. It went down further. I bought more at $2.80. So now I have 9 contracts again. I'm in for $3.20, and it's down. It closed at $1.90. So I'm down $1.30 on those, $130 a contract. I made $275 per contract for my initial position. So understand, if I was to close it out right now, it's a net gain. Okay. Next, Upstart. I mentioned yesterday on YouTube that Upstart was at $200. It's more likely that it goes up 10% today than down 10% today. So it went up to 220. I was in at 205. I got out at 218. I took profit. I would have loved to catch it to 220. Fastly, another trade. And I'll get to the bad ones too. Don't worry about it, because people are like, what about the bad trades, bro? Fastly, under $40 this morning. We all know I like Fastly because I talk about it. Plus, it's on the spreadsheet as a stock-only purchase, and I only have 3 stock-only purchases. So I bought the options when it was under $40. I sold them at $41.40. Again, I didn't call the high. I think it went to $41.60 or $40. I'm not greedy. I secured profit. Now, the UVXY. Now, this is interesting because we all know the UVXY spiked at the end of the day, and I'm going to get to that shortly. But I played puts. The first time I made 50%, right? The first play of the day. I had 30 contracts. Then I entered into it again when it spiked to, I think it was 25.40 or 24.50. One of those. I made 25%. The last time I entered the trade, it was $24.85. The UVXY is now $2 higher. So that trade is obviously losing right now. But if you just make one trade, you're going to lose. If you had to play the UVXY and you were like, I think it's going down today, you're wrong because you get stuck in the trade. So anybody without a cash account, you're just riding the elevator up and down. So that's my example, and you're going to get rocked. Speaking of getting rocked, all right, my small account that I opened with $2,000 is now 80% down because I only have $400 left. So I started with $2,000. I only have $400. My first trade was plus 10%. So that was a great way to start. Now, what rocked me was TTD. I cannot control the market. There was demand. There are institutions and hedge funds buying into it. It's certainly not funny, but I'm probably going to end up taking a loss. I know some of you followed me into that. So the reason I was laughing is because someone reached out to me today and was like, hey, I bought one TTD contract. Now, it's always the same case. It's always like I'll talk about like 5 different stocks, Fastly, Tiger, whatever it is. And the one that's doing the worst, somebody will always reach out and be like, hey, what do you think about this? And I'm like, oh, shit, why are you averaging down on the worst one? Did you get any other plays? And I can't ask because it's not right. Okay, so let's mention my small account challenge. So I mentioned the first small account, which I had $2,000, is now $400. I am still in those positions with 2 T-Docs and 18 TTDs, okay? So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I'm obviously not going to let the account go to zero because I will work it back up. If it's $400 and I need to work it up to $3,000 in the next 2 weeks, I'll do it. Now, here's the other small account challenge that is also part. I have a nephew. He's like 15 years old now, which means I obviously have a brother. For his birthday, my nephew's birthday, July 17th, I opened up a trading account for him with my brother's permission for $500. My brother was managing his account. It went from $500 down to $129. He called me yesterday. I took over the account, so he gave me the password and whatever. So I have $129 in the account. This is the new play, and it's more in line with everybody else. If you have $100, here's what you can do. So I'm going to talk about those plays real quick, tell you where my account's up to, where it was almost up to. All right, so I got $129. I bought one plug option yesterday at $72. I sold it yesterday right before the market closed at $93. I told you I planned in advance. So as I was preparing for the live stream, my phone dinged and told me I sold it for $93. All right, so now this morning he started with, I think, $169. I say he, but it's really me. $169. I went into 5 option contracts for Tiger at 25 cents. It was the $15 calls. Tiger was up a little. It was like at 14.14 this morning. I was like, if the NASDAQ has a good day, which I think it will, Tiger can move like 10%. If it moves 10%, I will get a nice return. So as soon as I bought them, I posted on the platform. I bought these 5 options for 25 cents. I'm going to ask 50 cents. And then I updated the post and I said, you know what? I'm always miss max profit by at least 10%. I'll put it for 55 cents. Those same $15 calls when Tiger spiked to, $15 and 40, 50, 60 cents, whatever it was, they were worth $1. So yes, mine got executed at 55 cents. They went all the way as high as $1. So again, max profit, I missed it by like 100% there. But the point is, I took the small account. I had 5 contracts. I made another $125. So my account went north of $320 from $129 2 days ago. Okay, so 2 days, I'm 2 trades in, and I'm now north of 100%. I'm over $310 or $20. Then I go in and I get too smart for my own good, and I do the same thing that I did with Edit, which means I already profited on it once. So with TTD, I'm like, okay, it's the bottom. And I was right. It was basically the bottom for that time. However, and it was going up. I chose not to sell it because I put in my ask for $2. These are the $79 calls. All right. After that happened, TTD and the rest of the market, and we're going to get into that right now, threw up on itself at about 2:30 when the Fed spoke. And then it quickly rebounded. So I thought it was a fake out, but everybody else that was correct about it knew the market was going to continue to throw up. And those like Romeo, who joined me Monday and Tuesday, if you don't know who Romeo is, please watch Monday and Tuesday. Very smart individual, okay? I thought the market was going to rebound at the end of the day. He thought the market was going to sell off at the end of the day. He has 4 put contracts, and on his 4 put contracts, remember, Romeo started his account with $2,000, worked it down to $100, actually $84. And then from $84, he now is north of $17,000. So today, his 4 contracts that he invested $500, $600, about $700, he made $1,500 in the last hour of trading. So he made over 200% in the last 1 hour of trading. Okay. So again, small accounts, medium-sized accounts, 1 contract, 2 contracts. It goes the wrong way. 1 contract, 2 contracts. Remember, the market is volatile. So when I talk about cash accounts, and I guess I will mention this one last time, you have to plan ahead. You buy something for $2, you want to sell it for $2.60 and secure 30% or 40% or 20%. If you don't do that, you're going to ride it up and down. And that shit is painful because you can go from being up $3,000 in the day to losing $1,000 in the day. And you could tell all of your friends and your wife or your husband, hey, baby, I'm up 3,000. It's only 11 a.m. And when you get home and she gets home from work and you guys are talking at dinner, she says, how much did you make today? You say, I lost 1,000. And then it leads to an argument and leads to a fight. All right. So Tiger, pure manipulation. I just want to add this because I'm probably going to be playing Tiger in and out the next few days. Tiger has somebody that is very bullish. So even when the market throws up on itself and pushes TIGR under, I believe after hours, it's up like 2 or 3%. We saw pre-market this morning. It was up 5%. So somebody likes to play around with that. Okay. Now let's talk about the Fed. Okay. So the Fed came out and they read the Fed notes around 2 o'clock or 2:30. And basically everybody was fearful that the Fed would start tapering. All right. Now, what does that mean? When the Fed lessens its support for the market. So for months, or actually for the life of the market, the Fed basically buys these reverse repos every week. Now, the reverse repos, they used to pay like 700, they used to buy 720 million, yeah, dollars worth, and then they'd buy $757 million worth, and then $775 million worth. For the last couple of weeks, the reverse repo has been purchased at over $1 billion worth, okay? Which means they are basically supporting the market. The government is basically supporting the market, which is why you hear analysts and people on Wall Street, they've been saying it for months now. So even though we're at all-time highs, they were early because they were saying it 3 months ago. In fact, I've got a lifetime member, Alex, who was very happy this afternoon when the SPY threw up on itself because he's been saying that for like a week. He's been waiting for the retracement. And again, we've been hitting all-time highs. So I get it, Alex. That shit is frustrating. The same way it was frustrating for me to give away all of my profit from 1:30 p.m. all the way to close today. I mean, I was having a great day and I just got greedy. So when I tell you guys, do not get greedy. Focus on your positions before you enter. Pretend like you have a gun or a knife held to you. See, I was getting cocky. I had a winning position in Fastly, winning on Edit. I turned PayPal around to a profitable position. I was in Xylo. I exited out at like $95. I was in there. I was in First Solar, which I alerted yesterday to my platform. I took 2 positions yesterday, 3 actually. So I was at the dentist, but I alerted. I said I'm going into First Solar calls, Blink calls, and Blink was at 30.30. First Solar was 92, like 50 or something like that. And UVXY puts yesterday. All 3 were profitable. Today, I got out of First Solar. It went from, I was in at 90, 92 and a half. It went to $95. So I'm out. I didn't know the market was going to throw up on itself. Same with Blink. Blink was up like 6 or 7% at some point during the day. I'm like, that's a lot for Blink. Let me exit out of the position. With that said, I'm going to go into 5 slides, and then we're going to get to some questions from you all, and we'll see what we can do with that. All right, John, when you get a chance, can we load up a slide? All right. Oh, perfect. So, yeah, this was First Solar yesterday. Now, the exciting thing about First Solar or Canadian Solar or any solar-powered company, Biden came out today, and he basically said that he wants 60% or something ridiculous number of that of the energy to be used in the U.S. to be solar-powered by 2035. So he gave it about 14 years. Also, in the infrastructure bill, there's a ridiculous amount of money. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's 90 billion, 100 billion, 150 billion. Ridiculous amount of money going towards solar-powered companies, okay? So I like First Solar, U.S. company, Canadian Solar, Canadian company, JK Solar, Chinese company. So that's why I like First Solar. Let's go on to another slide. Okay, this was the small account challenge. Okay, so again, this was after my first trade. It had $129. I already mentioned this. It's on the platform. So for anybody that's struggling or if you have a small account, you can follow along. I announce the trades that I'm going to do prior to them executing. What does that mean? It means I see a contract that's going for $1 and I say, I'm going to offer, like Tiger this morning, it was going for $30 a contract. And I said, $30 a contract, that's the ask. I will put in for $25 a contract and I will sell at $50 a contract. The point is, you can afford contracts. You just need to be right. You need to have a strategy and you need to execute. So this account, I told my brother I was going to give it back to his son when I get it north of $1,000. Again, it was up to $320 today, and now it's back to $210. Let's go to another slide. 3 more slides. All right, UVXY, this is my first position today that I exit out of, 50%. My second position, I made 25%. My third position, I am getting crushed. But the point is, I've secured profit twice. The third one, I still have 2 more days. So we'll see how that ends up. Let's get another slide up there, please. Oh, Fastly. Excellent. You're ahead of me. Yeah, so Fastly got in and out today. I gave myself a little more time with this one with the August 27 calls. But again, I'm out. I was out when Fastly hit 41.40. Now, if I was to check, again, I didn't know the market was going to throw up on itself. Okay, well, it's not so terrible now. It's at $41 flat. It's holding after hours. And let's get to the last slide, please. All right, and this was Edit. So this is me telling you guys this morning. Do I have another post with Edit? I think I have another one. Nope, let's go one more. All right, so here it was. So I made a post this morning, and I was like, okay, I purchased 2 options for Edit when it dropped this morning. It was still at $59.70. I bought 2 more, and then I bought 2 more. So I bought at $1.90, which was the low before, actually tied the low because it ended the day at $1.90. I bought at $1.90, $1.95, and $2. And then I sold for $4.75, and then again, I re-entered at $3.60 and $2.80, and now they're worth $1.90. But the whole premise behind this play was that Edit has a ton of institutional support and that it could easily ride up to $61 or $62 today. Now, I was wrong there because it actually went up to $65 and I secured 140% on my trade. Again, I was only in for what, $1,800, and I secured a profit of over $3,000 on this trade. So let's go to another slide. I thought it was going higher. I was watching, I mentioned, I thought it was going to 67. All right, so this is Upstart and YouTube. Every day on YouTube, I've mentioned Upstart since it was $125 a share. Then it was $145, I mentioned again, $155, I mentioned again, $170 again. It went up to $200. Somebody asked about it yesterday, and I said there's more chance that Upstart goes up 10% tomorrow rather than going down because it's had a good run. It's had 5 straight days of inflow. In fact, I think it's had more like 15 straight days of inflow, but the last 5 have been heavy volume. All right, let's get another slide up there, please. Okay, no more slides. There we go. All right, so this is awesome. So I wanted to talk today. Originally, somebody reached out to me on the side and said, Matt, can you explain how you pick out these stocks, why they go on your watch list? How do you know when they bottomed? Okay, so it's a lot of questions, but I'm going to tell you the first 2 answers are pretty simple. So stocks that I'm adding, or I suggest you add to your watch list, okay? First thing you do, you're looking for something that's a volatile stock that might be beaten up. So something like maybe like pins that went down, or you look for a hot industry like Snap or Twitter or something to that extent. You can go industry by industry. I look for stocks that are beat up, but specifically, here's what I'm looking for. I look at the 1-month chart, and you can look at any chart here, and I'll probably do that when people start asking questions about certain stocks. I look at the 1-month chart for those stocks, all right? And then I'm tracking as there's outflow, and there's greater outflow, but the stock is kind of bottoming. For example, your stock had tons of outflow today, yet it only went down 5 cents. It meant that people were scare selling, thinking the market would throw up on itself. Your stock only went down 5 cents. However, volume spiked, and it was mostly outflow. That's a good sign. It's basically telling you that it's getting rid of weak hands. So I mentioned, and I'll pull up TDOC, okay? And we'll give you one example for TDOC, and then we'll go into questions. All right. So TDOC, I'll look at the 1-month chart. So I saw it spike around earnings all the way up to $155, which put it on my watch list because it's been selling off since earnings. So again, I saw it sell off all the way to like 814, 815. Looks like it was an inflow day, but it still went down a little. So I know that people were interested in the stock, yet it was going down. Now let's remember, TDOC opened yesterday at 134 and went all the way up to 139, almost 140. TDOC today went from 137 all the way to 141. All right. So the higher, it's getting to higher highs. Okay. So even though today was tough, I really expect TDOC to finish sometime this week, probably 143, 142, unless the market throws up on itself. So we got 2 ends of the spectrum right now that we're dealing with. And I'm sure you guys all are curious as what I'm thinking with the market. And I know there are some people that I disagree with that think the market, this is just the first day of many days where the market's going to go down. All right, let's go back to March, and then we can go back to June. We suffered through 12 straight days where 11 out of 12 days were down days. All right, so prepare yourself. If you are a bear or a pessimist and you believe the market is overvalued, then what you saw today was just the start or the beginning, okay? And it would probably run 9 out of 11 days. So there is a good chance for the next 2 weeks, your stocks give away, I don't know, even a $77 stock is going to give away $1 a day. $1 a day, another dollar, 50 cent here, 40 cent there. It's going to keep going down. So that's if you're bearish. So if you're bearish, I would be very careful. I would exit out of a lot of positions that I'm in and just wait on the side and make those day trades. So when I tell you to have cash accounts, it doesn't mean that you have to call the market perfectly. Oh, the market dropped 500 points. Shit, I was on the wrong side. Or the market recovered tomorrow so strong. Oh, I thought it was going to sell off. No, all you have to do is be correct for when you enter into your position and when you exit out. You don't have to be correct about the whole market. You don't have to be correct about 10 different stocks or 10 different positions. You have to be correct about one position. So if you follow a stock like Family, like my lesson, okay? I don't care if you're in Delta and you know Delta's moves, or Wynn Casino, or Carnival, or Tiger, or Upstart, and you know Upstart likes to run up 10% and then give back 4%. So tomorrow, if it's going to follow the same pattern and it closed at what? 210, 213. I would expect it to run up to 224 before selling off to 218, 219, something to that extent. We did this a couple of weeks ago with AMD. I spoke about it. In fact, it was last week. Somebody said, I have a problem with AMD. I said, what's probably going to happen tomorrow is it's going to open at 109 and then go down to 105 and then bounce back up. So that's what AMD did the last time. You just have to follow patterns. So that's what I'm trying to help you guys do. So let's ask some questions. Now, let's get your questions on some thoughts. Your thoughts and questions, whatever. All right. This is Smile Direct Club. I think it was a piece of shit stock at 13, which is when I remember it spiking to, or it spiked to like $12 at some point. And I was like, really? It's probably worth half of that. Okay. So it's worth less than half of that. Oh my God. Yeah. So it spiked back. What was it? February to like $15. They've had earnings 3 times since. It keeps going down every time. It just sold off a couple of days ago when they had their last earnings call. It was $7. Now it is under $5. Yeah, I mean, there was inflow for the last 2 days. Once it bottomed 4 days ago, it kind of bounced up a little to 531. So yeah, I mean, it's always risk versus reward. So even though I think Smile Direct Club is probably a piece of shit product, the chart actually looks decent. Now you have to have demand and inflow. So if you know there's a reason why volume would spike from 7 million to 14 or 20 million, that will drive your stock from 483 up to $7. Until that happens, expect plus or minus 10 cents a day. So until you saw there's volume that makes it 3 times as popular as it normally is, where it does maybe 7 million. And again, the day that it sold off on 8.8 or 8.9, it had a volume of 20 million. So, and then the next day when people were buying, it had a volume of 14 million. Now it does 7 million a day. So I'd be very cautious. Again, it looks like you have limited downside here, but you really need volume to spike this back up to $6.70 or $7. All right, let's get another question up, please. Thoughts on Tesla for tomorrow. All right. So if you don't remember, yesterday I was talking about that I was actually hoping the SPY and the Dow would sell off today and tech would be stronger today. So I said, or I was thinking the Dow might sell off 100 points, 150 points, and the tech might be up 50 or 100 points. And tech was actually doing quite well, up 30 or 40 points before the market sold off. And it went from up 40 points to down 50 points. Tech was having its strongest day in a while. It was basically fluttering on the positive plus 7 points, minus 2 points, something like that. So Tesla's obviously going to be revolving around NASDAQ and the market. If the market sells off tomorrow, Tesla will go down. Now, the good thing about Tesla today was, and if you're in Tesla, it probably would have pushed 700 or 705 today if the market wasn't as bloody as it was. Keep in mind, the market turned ugly. Tesla still gained 3.5%. So if I was going to make a prediction tomorrow, I would say, okay, Tesla's probably going to gain another 2.5 to 3%. I do expect Tesla to be down after hours. I do expect Tesla to be down pre-market. I expect futures tomorrow to look red. I expect futures tomorrow to look really red until they rebound in the morning, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., something like that. Then there'll be a bit of a selling off. It's basically people's psychology going, oh shit, or should I go in or out? Is the market going to sell off or is it not going to sell off? Now remember, the last 2 times we had these major sell-offs, like today, it rebounded the next day. Remember that one time the Dow was up 800, 900 points? The next day it was up like 796 points. So I'm very curious about tomorrow and what tomorrow is going to bring. I have very few positions right now in the market because I don't know the market direction. If I did know the market direction, I would have more positions because I would be ready for that. All right. So Tesla tomorrow, I say you're probably going to get another 2.5%, which would be another like $16 or $17, which should put it around 702 to 704. That's what I think Tesla's going to be trading at tomorrow. Let's get another question, please. Hey, Matt, can I talk about a gap fill? Sure. A gap fill is a term that people use when they think a stock either moved up or down too quickly. So let's say your stock finished at $10 and they had earnings that day and they open up the next day at $7. People will say, we didn't really have time to sell between $10 and $7. So that's a gap. So people like to say the gap generally gets filled. That's a rule of thumb that people say when it gaps up, the stock will come back and fill that gap. When the gap's down, the stock will come up and fill that gap before trending back down or before trending back up. So yeah, anytime a stock jumps $4 or $5 and everybody misses the opportunity to get in because it closes at 75 and opens at 80, or it closes like, something gets wrecked after hours. Let's say like Roblox has earnings or something like that, which they did, and it was like $81, and then it opened up at 76 the next day, something to that extent. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Let's get another question. Everybody that's watching, and I know 7 people give me thumbs down every day. It'll probably up to 8 today because people think that's funny. I don't care. Give me thumbs up. Give me thumbs down. Please subscribe. I'm trying to give you guys information. I'm not going to be perfect every time. So this is what cracks me up. When I was wrong the 3rd time today on the UVXY, I made profit once. I made profit twice. When I'm losing the 3rd position, somebody's like, "Hey, good call there, dude. You were so wrong." But these people, they don't sit in front of my computer. They have no clue that I was having a fantastic day up until about 1:30, 2 o'clock. All right, thoughts on the SPY. So, Amy, this is similar to what I spoke about, okay? Obviously, there are 2 options. My thought on the SPY is every time we've had a substantial drop, the market tends to rebound the next day, okay? And every time we've had a substantial drop, people say, "Oh, it's going to get ugly the next day. Oh, this is just the start. It's going to be ugly tomorrow, the next day, the next day." The good news is if it does get ugly, you will figure it out tomorrow. If tomorrow is an ugly day and the markets are, again, I don't see them throwing up 300 points, but if they're off conservatively 80 points and 120 points, that would be number 2 days in a row. So understand that every time this gets started, we go through a streak of about 12 days before the market turns. So, Amy, if you're bearish on the market, you could have a streak of 10 to 12 days in front of you. And even on the days that it bounces up, the next day it'll go down lower. Okay. Or the market had a slight correction. And this is what we've seen lately. When the market has a slight correction and it corrects itself 300, 400, 200 points, whatever it is, it tends to bounce back because the institutions are looking at for more of a longer term hold. You got Kathy Woods at ARK, right? She doesn't short stock. She doesn't play options. So when she's buying into a position with her $100 billion that she has set up for her various accounts, she's got to find stocks that she finds attractive. All right. And the same is a lot of the same with the big banks and the hedge funds, the institutions. I mean, that's just how it is. So they need to find stocks that they think can have growth and acceleration, which is why her ARK Innovation Fund is battling with Michael, what's his name? Michael Burry, the guy that did The Big Short. He's shorting RK. Kathy and him got into a back and forth. I think it was a day or 2 ago. It was quite amusing. All right, so thoughts on the SPY. I mean, you saw it drop pretty hard. I think it's going to bounce. Other people think it's going to drop even harder tomorrow. So I guess we'll find out in the morning who's right, who's wrong. Again, do not let the market fool you. By 10 a.m., 10:15 a.m., you should get the good direction of the market. But remember, when the market opens at 9:30, it's very volatile. Remember how today ended. So there's a good chance, especially with futures being red, how I see them opening up tomorrow, that the market sells off at open. If it does sell off at open, then you need to decide one of 2 things. If the market sells off at open from 9:30 to 9:50 or 10 a.m., you have to say, is that the bottom, or will the real bottom be like 10:40? Like it usually is when the market sells off. So if the market sells off tomorrow, I would be looking to enter into position sometime between 10:40 and 11 a.m. If the market rebounds tomorrow, you will see that happening pretty quick, meaning futures will be red, the market will open up, it'll dip from maybe minus 50 to minus 100 points, and then you'll quickly see it bounce from minus 100 points to minus 20 points. And then it'll make its way back, and they'll be playing around with it because people will be saying, I think the market's going to throw up. So anytime it gets even, they'll push it down. Anytime it gets too far down, they will push it back up, which is why day trading makes so much sense for us, because when they push it down, we're buying calls. Or when they spike the market and you're like, market's overvalued. I mean, again, Romeo was talking about it on Monday and Tuesday. He was looking for the SPY possibly to hit 448, and then he said he's going into puts. He didn't need it to hit 448. He just needed to time his puts, which he did. So congratulations, Romeo. All right, let's get another question up there, please. Hey, there's Romeo. Hey, I do think there will be stocks tomorrow that will do well. Yes, so I agree with Romeo. Again, it's a stock picker's market. So you want to find stocks that have inflow and demand. And you know what? We'll look at Upstart real quick because that's the easiest to point out that there is demand. So we'll look at Upstart. Anybody can do this with me. You're looking at a 1 month chart. That's all you need to look at, whether you're using Robinhood, Webull, E-Trade. It has the volume at the bottom of the screen. Now you can see it. Upstart 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Today makes 6 straight days of heavy volume and heavy inflow. Upstart used to do about 1 million of volume every day. Now, for the last 6 days, they've done anywhere from 8 million to 12 million in volume a day. Keep in mind, this is a $212 stock. So who the hell is buying all this Upstart? It's institutions. They're the only ones that can afford $200,000 purchases for 1,000 shares. That's just how it is. There's 8.7 million shares traded today. That's a lot of money. What's 8 million? 8 million. That's about $16 billion worth of stock traded today. And again, it pushed higher, up another 6% today. So yes, with Upstart again, I expect to go 225 tomorrow. All right, do me a favor, John. We're going to get 2 more questions. I know we're almost at the end. Please hit a thumbs up, subscribe if you like this shit. If you have any questions that I'm not getting to, please add your questions underneath. I try and tailor each of my live streams to help you guys out. You're here watching me and wanting to learn and make yourself more efficient. Oh, actually, we'll end on this. My platform. Somebody reached out to me on the side today and said, dude, I'm really looking for your alerts. I missed some of your alerts. They're here, they're there. What am I doing wrong? And I said to the person, understand, my platform is basically to make you a more efficient trader, to teach you skills and lessons on how to enter in, how to secure profit, and then repeat it over and over again. And again, I'll bring up Romeo again. Dude had under $100, has over probably like 19,000 now. I know I said 17,000, but I've seen his trades. So the way to make profit is one option account, one option play at a time. You buy this option, you make $40, you're out. You're in at 80, out at 120. That's 50%. You do it again. If you have a few $100s on the side and you're buying a $100 option, you can enter into 5 plays on the day if you need to. I never say to put all your money in the market at once. I like you to hold the money up. All right. So anyway, I appreciate everybody here watching, listening, hopefully learning. Please share this video with somebody if you think it's educational and you think they will learn from it, or there's something I explained that that you just didn't understand up until today and you have the light bulb moment. If you want to educate yourself and help yourself and you're struggling with options, you can go back and watch episode 3742. If you're in a shitty stock position, as somebody wrote me today, they were in AI, artificial intelligence company. It's at $45 today. He has 100 shares of stock. Last example, I told him, set your ask for your 100 shares of stock at $46. When it hits, you'll have $4,600. You're down $1,300. That's what he told me. He was in for $5,900. I said, with that $4,600, you will buy the, I think it was the $50 calls out to January. They were trading around $8. I said, you'll put in your order for $7.50. If it happens today, great. No. Tomorrow, great. Perfect. The next day, great. The point is, he has until January. He doesn't need to overpay and pay $830 a contract if he can buy them for $750. If he buys them for $750 and he buys 7 contracts, it would be $4,500. He's got $4,600 after he sells his stock. All right, he's still down $1,300. Point is, the stock goes up to $55. It's not a killer. By January, AI up to $55, and he's profitable again. Instead of breaking even, he'd be profitable $2,500. If it goes up to $60, which is very likely because I see AI around $90 by January, but just if it goes up to $60, he was profitable by like $4,000 or $6,000. If it went up to $65, he's profitable by $14,000. So for being in a shitty position for a number of months, AI, like it looks like it's going to rebound, then it drops down. Looks like it's going to rebound, it drops down. It's $45, now $46. Again, all he needs is 55 and higher by January. So people are saying, shit, that makes sense. It sounds easy. So again, if you're in a shitty stock position, I was just using that as an example. Watch episode Ask Matt 14. I'm in a shitty stock position. Step out of shit and make some money. Thank you, everybody, for watching today. I appreciate it.